you will face struggles and you will come into context and specific situations where you do not know that it's applying to the things that I teach, but it is. For example, in one of my videos, I explain how you have to sacrifice what you have and what you love the most to then get what you want and what you think you will then love the most. For example, if you are an unprofitable day trader, most likely you have a lot of bad habits. You're not consistent or disciplined with anything you do. You have never done anything very difficult, such as trading before. You've never learned something such as trading before. And this is your first contact, basically, within entrepreneurial journey. And the thing you have to understand, you most definitely have to understand, is that within any business or journey, whether this be e-commerce, drop shipping, day trading, application making, data management, like some random shit, you will face things that are similar but different from failures in trading. For example, when you fail in trading, that applies to a few things. The first thing that could consider you a failure or a fault within your trading is missing a day of not being disciplined or consistent within anything you do. For example, if you miss a day of not journaling, if you miss a day of not backtesting, if you miss a day of not forward testing, if you miss a day of not having a relationship with God, you must punish yourself. Because if you do not, it is a failure, it is a loss. And if you do not punish yourself and learn from that loss and learn why you shouldn't not do that, then you're going to remain the person you are. If you choose to miss a day and then you do not repercuss yourself and cause yourself some sort of pain or indifference, then you will never improve, because you'll say, okay, I can do this and, I'm already the same, so I'll stay the same. Like, if you're going to do something and then choose to not do the things you said you were going to do because you know they'll make you successful, and then you expect to change, it doesn't make any sense. The next thing, other than missing a day, is taking a trade and not learning from it. Just like within punishing yourself, if you know that you can take losses but you must learn from them, and then you fail to learn from them, it was a pointless loss. If you lose a game of basketball and you just say, oh, bad game, do you think the most successful basketball players are thinking like that? No, they're not thinking like that. They're looking back over the recordings. They're looking up, what did I mess up on here? How did this game get lost? What did the other team have that we didn't? How can we improve? They write those things down. They improve them within their own team. And then the next time they go on the court, they're even better than they were that last game. So if you know, as a trader, that's how basketball players and NBA players are getting better, then when you take a loss in trading, look at everything that caused you to take a loss. Did you follow your rules? Was your setup there? Were you patient? Were you disciplined? Were you being greedy and targeting too much? Did you set a loss limit, a daily profit trigger? Did you have auto lock it on? Did you blow your account? What specific things happened and what processes occurred to allow you to go down the path that you did on the day that you took the loss? And if you do this and then you never repeat that same process ever again, that same outcome will never, ever, ever come again when that specific scenario appears and presents itself. Because if you understand why you're losing, if you understand the things that are causing you to lose, and then you say, okay, instead of just repeating that same mistake over and over again, like 99% of other traders, I will choose to learn from that mistake and see what I did wrong and see what I can improve. And then the next time it presents itself, I will not make that same mistake. And then over time, it builds something called discretion. Discretion is the ability to see a setup and just take it subconsciously, knowing that everything that you have is there. It's not pattern trading. It's different from pattern trading because of the fact that it's from years and years of experience or understanding the market over a large time horizon, pretty much. And these are the things that no one else wants to tell you. No one else wants you to understand. Because they say, oh, you can fail. It's just a loss. Just journal it. What? Just journal it. What does that mean? Journal it. No, you need to go and look at the trade. Look at where you entered. Look if you had your entry triggers. Look at, was the trade aligned with your narrative? Look at if you were targeting from internal to external instead of internal to internal. Look if you were being greedy. Look if you were hesitant and you entered and you were kind of FOMOing. Be real with yourself, because these online trading gurus, they tell you to just be consistent and eventually you'll get there. But this is not the reality of trading. If you tell a kid that's playing basketball, oh, just keep playing basketball and eventually you'll get to the NBA. Does that make any fucking sense? No. If you want to get to the NBA, you have to do specific things that an NBA player did to get into the NBA. You don't just go down your own path. You repeat the steps and the processes that allowed the first person to get into the NBA. If you think you can continue playing street ball for every single day, like you guys are treating your trading like it's street basketball, and you are trying to go to the NBA. If you play street basketball every single day and you're praying to God, let me join the NBA, let me join the NBA. What do you expect to happen? You're playing street ball. There's no fouls, there's no rules. Nobody's disciplined there. Nobody's trying their hardest. You're out till like 6 p.m. You go home. You're playing basketball 4 hours, 2 hours. You need to be putting in 8 to 12 hours per day. 6 to 8 to 12 hours, depending on your schedule. Completely focused around trading. Because people treat trading. People treat trading like it is street ball, and they're treating profitability like it's the NBA. If you were trying to become a profitable trader, but you're trading like a street ball, and you're trying to get to the NBA, what do you expect to happen? You're going to keep playing street ball. But if you then start acting and taking the routine that an NBA player had or a profitable trader had, you will then become the profitable trader, because you will start repeating the same steps that profitable trader had implemented into their routine to basically say to themselves, I will become a profitable trader. And it will happen. It is as simple as that. So basically, what I'm trying to say in this video is that you need to understand what things are causing you to fail. And instead of treating them as just minor failures and eventually you'll get to success through consistency and discipline, you actually implement the solution and you understand why you treat your losses more valuable than your wins. Your losses are so important. Because your wins, everything was there. It's just a normal setup. But let's say you followed all your rules and your entry trigger was there. Oh, but my narrative was wrong. Then you can look at what happened and what caused you to formulate that narrative within the moment and be like, oh, well, I saw this, but I didn't realize that we displaced this much higher. So why was I taking shorts at, when price had already displaced 100 points and then we had a draw above? Why was I taking shorts just because we had busy disrespect? If you look at these things and you see, okay, my trade lost because I formulated a bearish narrative because we had a few displacement candles and I had FOMO, so then I entered. Okay, so next time, make sure that price rebalances and confirms the fact that your narrative is correct, and you'll never make that mistake again. And then boom. If you simply understand and have a good strategy, and then when you take losses, you make sure that you were following the strategy and that everything else was aligned, such as your narrative, your bias, your entry triggers, what did price actually do, and what were you thinking? Were you just thinking something and you were married to your bias and you didn't want to give it up because you didn't want to think that you were wrong? It doesn't matter. If price is telling you something other than your thinking, and the setup presents itself, take the setup. Do not let yourself be married to your bias and do some stupid shit and then, oh, well, look at that. I just happened to, what's it called? I just happened to take this trade even though price was telling me something completely different. Stop repeating the same mistakes. The final part of this video, I want to talk about one more thing. If you think about the average person, the 99%, there's 7 billion people on Earth, right? Let's just say 4 billion, 3 billion, or in the US. So 3 to 4 billion people, 2 to 4 billion people. I'm not entirely sure how much people in the US. Maybe not even a billion. Maybe like 300 million. I don't know. Out of the 7 billion people on Earth, what percentage of those people every single day are, at the end of the day, journaling? Actually think to yourself. Who is at the end of their day, they're going, okay, this is everything that I did. This is everything that I want to do. And this is everything that I completed. what prevented me from doing these things and allowed me to do these things? Oh, well, maybe I was scrolling for 2 hours. So that 2 hours that I could have accomplished this goal, I instead didn't get that goal accomplished because of the fact that I was scrolling. That means the next day, I will reduce my scrolling by getting an app that will lock me out of Instagram or TikTok. And then they actually understand what the problem was and what prevented them from reaching their goal, so that the next day, instead of repeating the same mistake and not getting the goal accomplished, they will then have the time to accomplish their goal. It's as simple as that. But if you think about it, it sounds like something so simple, but majority of people don't do it. If you think about the entire world, everyone, think about the people, not like the people in Africa, but think about the people with resources, with notebooks, with good mental health, with food, with water, with housing. At the end of the day, you need to write down and journal, what are the things that I did? What are the things that I wanted to do? And what are the things that I did do? Because if you could, I don't know if I repeated any of those things, but you need to understand what you did do and what prevented you from doing the things that you wanted to do and that you needed to accomplish. Because if you can do that, if you can self-analyze and be hypercritical, don't make excuses for yourself. Look at it from a baseline perspective. Look at it from the perspective of what did actually occur. Because then you will allow that to be implemented into your trading. When you're trading, should you think in like what ifs and what ifs and what if this, what if that? Yes, you should. But when you're trading and you're actually taking your setup, you're saying, what is the market actually telling me? Is it telling me that my bias is correct? Is the bias correct? Is the displacement into that area correct? Is the bias correct? Is the narrative correct? Is the entry trigger correct? Is everything aligning for this trade to work out? Is it a high probable day? What are the probability of conditions? If you were thinking logically, just like when you're journaling at the end of the day, if you're thinking logically and you are able to formulate a logical outcome, and then you are actually able to implement it the next day, let's say with journaling. Let's say with journaling, you understand what the problem is, and then you determine the solution, and then you implement it the next day. And then you're like, okay, I implemented the solution, and then it worked. Okay, bang. It's as simple as that. And then within trading, you do the same thing. What prevented me from being successful yesterday? What can I do to not repeat the same mistake that caused me to be a failure yesterday? And how can I be successful today? You then implement the solution. And after implementing the solution, you will see results. You'll be like, okay, the day that I implemented the solution within my trading, I saw results. I saw price do what I thought it was going to do. I enter the trade. Then the trade immediately hits take profit. And it's as simple as that. If and only if you decide to understand the problems you have and then implement the solutions to then reach the outcome, that's the only way you'll reach the outcome. Do not play street ball if you're trying to go to the NBA. Go to the gym. Have good mental health. Do things that are difficult. Prove to yourself. Gain the confidence. There's so many things you can do. So many. That's going to be the end of this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you guys learned something. I hope you guys like this. I hope you guys like me, but it is what it is. I don't really give a shit. I'm going to keep posting videos. Stop playing street ball if you're trying to go to the NBA. You must put in the work. You must understand that self-analysis is the only thing that will get you to the place you want to go. I know that I talked about a lot right now, but I think all of this has to be put into one large, long-form video for you guys to understand. And that's going to be it. Catch you all in the next one.